project for ICT 200 to 205. My topic is going to be revolving around travel, and that is because I'm really interested in travel. I was born on an island, and I love going to other islands because I'm very picky with beaches, but I also love the mountains. And travel is just something that is always informative to look at infographics because you can always learn. Throughout these three infographics, two of which are not mine and one of which I created, we're going to be analyzing using both sources from specifically two sources from the school, from our school modules, and then analyzing using them, analyze using Dassault's principles as well. So first off, we have the most popular cities for domestic travelers in the United States. And this infographic, right away, it does have booking.com and Statista at the bottom. This helps with the audience and the credibility for the audience. It tells you where to get your information. It tells you where your information came from, and thus it can help you know if it is credible or not. I would say because of this, the purpose is to inform the audience. As far as the design, everything is very visually easy to understand, very easy to follow. I think the author did a great job of just showcasing the information simply. And I would like to add that even though this is about the top 10 cities, because of this huge United States coloring and design that they did, it also at the same time shows you popular states in the United States as well. So that's just kind of more information in there. Some things I would change as far as the colors across the page, even though there is kind of like a green, yellow, and blue correlation between all the states, I would maybe add more color in the corner or maybe in the subheader. Just to make it look more appealing to the eye. We have data visualization for human perception. And in this article, it states that at the end of the day, regardless of the information, how an infographic look is going to help with the information retained. So having a good looking infographic is pretty important, and I feel like in ways to improve, that's what this audience could have done better. As far as proximity, visual hierarchy, and colors, well, I mentioned colors, but as far as visual hierarchy and proximity, everything is very nicely put together. It's not a lot of empty area, and it's very easy to look at to know what information you should be looking at and when. All right, next we have this infographic titled The Most Popular States for Domestic Travel in Each State. And right away, I'd say the purpose, once again, is informing. It's just letting you know. I don't think that this is persuasive in any way or anything. And visually, I don't think that it reached its intended purpose. And I only say this because regardless of these two principles that I mentioned, I don't think the information is very accurate. And furthermore, to back that, it doesn't tell you where to get this information. I did include Yahoo Finance because I went, and looked into it, which is actually pretty difficult to do. But when the information provided doesn't look too credible, and two, it doesn't tell you where the information that this infographic was made, like where the information was obtained from, and that definitely doesn't help with the credibility. I think it's very important to include where the information is from, so it helps the author to know if it's legit or not. They did do a great job of continuity and proximity. There's not a lot of open space. It is a very cool design for an infographic, but I feel like when it comes to this information that is specifically being given, I don't think it's the most useful method or the most useful design to use for this infographic, simply because, as you can see, a lot of the leading, it's very repetitive, and because it's very repetitive, there's 100% a more efficient way to show this information. They do have it very color coordinated. However, I would still change the colors and even add more color. It just looks majority blue. Blue doesn't really give it gives sadness and just low vibes, and I don't feel like when you're talking about travel, these are colors that should fill the majority of the screen, and then it just mainly looks majority blue, which is fun. Well, I guess that looks... All right, here's my infographic. And I'll explain my use of color as well, because I guess that sounds bad. But right away at the top, I put the travel.com. That is where I got the information, and that is also a website that the audience can put in and look at to help get more information, which I think is really nice, and once again helps with the credibility. I titled it The Most Domestic Visited States in the USA, and I use colors and continuity, which I which this website, as well as the data visualization, mention the simplicity and the ideas behind simplicity and color when looking at infographics, which is something that I definitely kept in mind when making this. As far as continuity, it's, once again, like I said, very simple, very easy to follow, very hard to misinterpret this information. Listed from 1 to 5, we have the name. I've also included in 2022 because something that a lot of the past infographics didn't do is include a date. You can find infographics on the internet literally at any time, whether that's from 4 years ago or 5 years ago. So this just kind of helps with relative dating, once again, also with the credibility of the audience, just to know if in 2027 this is an infographic that they should be looking at, which it isn't because it's older. I included blue and yellow because even though blue in some cases might mean sadness, it can also mean loyalty, and it's just kind of more of a reaffirming color. When matched with yellow, yellow is more of like an optimistic, more of a happy color. I feel like the two go very well together. And as far as the audience for this, it's just anyone who's intending to travel, any adult who's intending to travel. I, as an adult who likes traveling, I appreciate a good looking infographic, and that's what I wanted mine to look like. As you can see below the actual name of the states, I actually included information about the state as well, just so you know if this is somewhere you want to be right off the bat, and if it's not, that's why it's an infographic. There's more. Keep looking at the information. Um, it gives a lot of information, but very easy to understand. And I also, put at the bottom, looking for where to go next. That can help the audience, and it also reaffirms the purpose, which is just to inform people of what are places that other people like to go. So in conclusion, I think that it is very important to clearly showcase the information. A confusing infographic is just going to be confusing. The audience should be able to know what information they're obtaining. Have a clear purpose, and with that, have an appropriate color and design. For example, if my infographic were the best places to travel with kids, perhaps I would make it a lot more of a kid-friendly infographic, more colors, maybe some designs here and there. But since I intended this to be for just like an average adult, I do think it matters when presenting an infographic. Here are my sources. Thank you.